We will call to order our regular scheduled meeting for February 12th. In the absence of a couple individuals, and in particular our treasurer, I'm going to appoint a treasurer pro temp. Dr. Alquist will be our treasurer pro temp. Can I have roll call, please?
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. DeMilo.
Here.
Mrs. Alquist here. Mrs. DeCapua. Mr. Atway.
Here. You guys would please stand to pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and
to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will begin today's meeting with our superintendent's update.
All right, thank you, Mr. Atway. Welcome everybody in person, those of you joining us online. Let me be the first to say happy Valentine's Day to you, coming on this Friday. It's always a good time to reflect and take an opportunity to share some love and appreciation for those special people in your life. So I'm going to take the opportunity to thank my wife, who's watching online, as she does every board meeting. It's not easy being the spouse of a superintendent. Let me just say that, but I do appreciate and love my wife, Jennifer, so thank you very much. All right, speaking of sharing some love, we had a great opportunity last week to recognize our amazing counseling staff. You see the ladies right there in front of you. They do a tremendous amount of work around the district. So appreciate their time and their effort. So we took some time last week to thank them and appreciate them across the district. And now Mr. Atway has a proclamation to read in honor of our counseling staff.
Outstanding. All right. In recognition of the counselors, we have a proclamation to recognize our school counselors for February 12th, 2025. Whereas school counselors are employed in public and private schools to help students reach their full potential, and whereas school counselors are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development, and whereas school counselors help parents focus on ways to further the educational, personal, and social growth of their children, and whereas school counselors work with teachers and other educators to help students explore their potential and set realistic goals for themselves, and whereas school counselors seek to identify and utilize community resources that can enhance and complement comprehensive school counseling programs and help students become productive members of society, and whereas comprehensive developmental school counseling programs are considered an integral part of the educational process that enables all students to achieve success in school, therefore, I, Joseph Knoll, do hereby proclaim February 3rd through the 7th, 2025 as National Schools Counseling Week. Congratulations and thank you to all of our school counselors for everything that they do on a daily basis. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Atway. So we're sticking with that Valentine's Day theme, sharing some love across the district. Here's our next big one. So coming up this weekend, on Saturday and really every day, we do appreciate our school resource officers and the Canfield PD. I put a little comment in my Tuesdays that went out. Hope you had a chance to read that, but we definitely want to thank these three gentlemen for their time and effort that they put in. As you know, school safety is one of my #1 jobs, and these guys deter, defend, detect. That's the main role of our school resource officers. Like I said in my update, it's all about building relationships and connections with our kids, and they do a great job of that. So I'm going to turn it back to Mr. Atway.
Thank you. A proclamation to recognize school resource officers for February 12th of 2025. Whereas the National Association of School Resource Officers is dedicated to making schools and children safer by providing the highest quality training to school-based law enforcement officers. And whereas school resource officers bridge gaps between youth and law enforcement and embrace a triad concept of school policing, serving in informal counseling, education, and law enforcement roles to support students and communities they serve. And whereas by training law enforcement officers to counsel, educate, and protect school communities, the men and women of NASRO continuously lead by example and promote a positive image of law enforcement to school children and school communities. And whereas SRO programs across the globe are founded as collaborative efforts by police agencies, law enforcement officers, educators, students, parents, and communities to create safe learning environments, provide valuable resources to school staff members, foster positive relationships with students, and develop strategies to resolve problems that affect youth intending to protect all children so they can reach their fullest potential. And whereas school resource officers are valuable and essential members of the education community and deserve unwavering respect and support from the public in the pursuit of keeping schools and students safe. And now, therefore, the Canfield Local Schools and Superintendent Joseph A. Knoll do hereby recognize and appreciate our SROs, Steve Garska, Josh Zamuda, and Mike Sraka on February 15th, 2025, National SRO Day, and throughout the school year. Congratulations and thank you to our school resource officers for everything that they do, and we appreciate them being a part of our school district.
Thank you, Mr. Atway. Some other great things we've been doing here over the last month or so. We had our annual Military Appreciation Night on January the 10th. Had a great evening at the basketball game. You can see some pictures. Front and center there, you've got myself, Mr. Kerensky, and our special guest, Lieutenant Colonel Mark Geisler, who joined us. Our pep band was firing up. Our choir sang. It was a great evening. And here's all the folks that were involved that night. Once again, all of our boys basketball players, their honored military person, and our cheerleaders joined in as well. So, as always, can never say thank you enough to our military for everything they do. One of the gentlemen was leaving the next day for active service. And it was just a powerful message that night, and our kids got to understand that. So that was awesome as well. Some other great things going on. This is our Kindness Club. This club started last year. You've got our elementary kiddos here sharing some love and some kindness and joy. They were putting positive motivational messages on those Starbucks cups. So if you went through Starbucks one day, they double cup those things, but on the outside were some really cool messages. One of these mornings was a tough morning. They got there early, but there was snow on the ground. They didn't miss a beat, made their way there, which was very cool. This is an interesting time in athletics here. We're getting ready for postseason play, and things are ratcheting up. So on the top left there, you have our cheerleaders who qualified for their state competition. Coming up on the right there, you've got our 7th grade boys and girls basketball teams who won the league championship this year. On the bottom left, we've got Mr. Logan in the house. All right, he's going to be introduced here in a minute. He was the men's bowler, high scorer, 230, 266, 230. That's not bad. That's not bad. So congratulations to him. And then our swim and diving team, all of these individuals qualified for the district meet coming up this weekend. It's unbelievable. Our girls won the sectional. So a lot of great things going on, and we got boys and girls basketball and wrestling and hockey. They're all getting ready to shift gears and get into tournament play as well. So been a lot of great things going on in that world as well, and good luck to everybody as you keep on moving through these tournaments. Just a couple reminders. I put this out on my Tuesdays yesterday. Tomorrow night is parent-teacher conference night. You can see the times there. And let me just pause. I've had a lot of parents call and say, hey, Mr. Knoll, what are you doing? Okay? Everybody's the same night. Okay, now, this was done on purpose, obviously, okay? And I know if I've got 3 or 4 kids, a lot of parents say, hey, Mr. Knoll, it's hard to get around everywhere. We totally understand it. Please don't forget, this is just one night where we have conference night. But you are always more than welcome and willing to call a teacher, set up an appointment for any other date, time. Our teachers are willing to talk to you. You could do a virtual, you could come in, whatever you need to do. This is just one night that we block away. But always remember, you're more than welcome to call and set up an appointment any other date, okay? And also, I know I don't got to remind everybody of this, but we get a couple days off here, all right, for what I call mid-winter break. So we're going to get Friday and Monday off because of the President's Day, and then we'll be back on Tuesday, the 18th of February to get rolling. I want to spend a couple minutes talking about the MSC chemical spill. I took an opportunity to share some information yesterday in my Tuesdays with you. Hope you had a chance to look at that. This is going to be just kind of a little bit more of that. Here in this auditorium on Monday, February the 3rd, the city of Canfield had a community meeting to talk about the chemical spill. How EPA was here, They got to speak, and then August Mack was here as well. And August Mack is the company that's been hired to basically oversee the cleanup of that area. So I applaud the city for bringing people together. It was about close to 200 people that night. I was here as well to be part of that. But that was a good way to kind of get the communication started as far as what's going on. The EPA put this slide up. Basically what they said is this is their corrective action plan. The first bullet item there is they got on site and basically just got everything contained. And then the second area there, which is what that red arrow says, projects here now, they're doing their investigation, okay? And the Ohio EPA obviously is kind of running the show on what needs to be done. August Mack is the company, like I said, that's been hired. And you can see kind of what they're doing, some of their efforts to date. They were on site back in July. They're continuing to do investigations at the facility, also in the ditch area there, the wetland and the tributary to the creek. And they're also doing some other interim measures moving forward. You can see their next steps there. They're working with the facility, doing some soil and vapor sampling in groundwater, looking at the wetlands and tributaries. And basically right now there is a TCE interim measures plan in place where they're going to be coming out and doing some testing. And you can see kind of out here to the right, this is the company itself, okay? All those testing areas are going on. And then you can see out here, this is us, okay? So they're going to be coming out here and doing some testing over at the high school area as well, specifically in the parking lots, and then doing a couple of the buildings to take a look at some things as well. So here's basically the next steps for the school district. Okay, tonight I am asking the board to approve a resolution for a fence to be placed on our property. Okay, and as you can see, this little yellow line going across here, this is the north side, like over by the soccer fields and the baseball field. The EPA wants to basically put a fence up on both sides of that creek as this process goes on, and obviously being a good neighbor and wanting to help with the whole process and move things along. I'm going to ask the board to approve that agreement tonight to get that fence put up. I'm also going to ask them to approve an access agreement. And as I talked about earlier, these are the areas that are going to be tested here. The SGE, you can see some of those things over here, that soil gas samplings is going to take place. And then this IA, we have two of those areas here. The IA stands for indoor air. This is like our weight room, wrestling area, and that's our concession stand. So those tests are going to be done. And actually, weather permitting, like I said in my Tuesdays, they're going to be on site this weekend. Okay, that's the plan, to start all of that testing. And then the final thing that I'm going to ask the board to approve tonight is an agreement with an environmental consulting firm. I appreciate the EPA, I appreciate August Mack, but I got to be honest with you, I wear a lot of hats as superintendent. Okay, a lot of hats. Back in COVID, I made the decision that I was going to rely on the people that knew COVID for a living. I'm not an epidemiologist, but we had people that were, and that was the county health department, and they did a great job driving us through that. We're going to rely on this company and a gentleman specifically to come in and give me some guidance on all these tests that are done, what all these reports say. They use a lot of acronyms and jargon like we do in education. But this gentleman here is going to be our support at the district level, so I can educate myself and then pass that on to the board. And then my job will continue to be updating you all as a community as well on what these next steps look like, and specifically around the high school facility. So that's the plan for the school district moving forward. And as always, Canfield, we're always stronger together. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Knoll, for those updates, and in particular relative to the MSC piece, which I know a lot of the members of the community had questions on, so I think that provided some valuable insight for them to know what's going on going forward. So as we continue the recognition piece of our program, we can now move forward and recognize our Rotary Students of the Month, and we will actually start with Mr. Flood. We're going a little bit out of order just based upon a request.
Good evening, Mike Flood, principal of Hilltop Elementary. I have Mia, come on over here. Mia is such a wonderful girl. She's in 4th grade, and you know, she's in Mrs. Cackley's classroom. She's hardworking, kind girl. She's a leader inside and out. Mia could be dependable as a leader and a problem solver. She's a friend to anyone that needs help and always cheers on her classmates. Mia lives with her mom, dad, and 3 brothers. She does take great care of her younger brother, who gets him on the bus this past week and all that. It's truly amazing to see her take that ownership. Favorite subjects is gym and math. Mia would like to be a dentist when she grows up. She would also like to visit Disney World one day. Mia loves to play gymnastics, play video games, watch TV, playing outside, and playing with her brothers. So congratulations, Mia, on a job well done.
Congratulations to Mia and the rest of the Eno family. And since I've gone out of order, I'll continue it and go backwards. So how about Mr. Lavery?
Good evening. My name is Travis Lavery. I'm the principal at C.H. Campbell Elementary School here in Canfield, and I am joined today by Mackenzie Christie. Mackenzie is an amazing student and a great leader. She was nominated for Rotary Student of the Month by her classroom teacher, and she is always so very helpful and caring. She's responsible, an excellent role model for all of her friends, and just an all-around outstanding student. And we are very grateful to have her at C.H. Campbell. Now, Mackenzie's favorite subject in school is art, so much so that one day she wants to be an art teacher, which, seeing some of her artwork over the years, I don't think will be an issue. And she is joined here tonight with her mom, Melissa, her dad, Luke, and her brother, Jax. Not joined tonight, though, by her dog, Graham Cracker, and her cat, Snowflake, so we appreciate that. In addition to that, one day she's hoping to go to Paris, France to go and visit, which I think sounds amazing. And in her free time, she's busy. She loves to dance and do gymnastics and even twirl her baton. And right after this, she's going to be running to hip hop practice. So very excited for her with that. She's an amazing student. We are so grateful to have her at C.H. Campbell. As like I said, she's just such an amazing role model and just an inspiration for all of our kids. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mackenzie, and to the Christie family. Let's give a mic switch real quick, Mr. Rubin, and then we'll let you. Mr. Rubin, I think, has 2 today. One that
I do. Good evening, everybody. My name is Judd Rubin. I'm the principal of Canfield Middle School. I have the privilege of honoring 2 students. We had one that had a makeup basketball game last time, so I want to start with her first. So my first student I'd like to recognize is Seva Nepper, and she is our January Rotary Student of the Month. Hi, Seva. Seva was recommended by her history and language arts teacher. She's been an excellent student role model for others in the classroom this year. Her hard work and participation during class time benefits everyone. She's also very kind and helpful to her peers. Seva works hard in both the classroom and athletics on a daily basis. She is here with her mom and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Nepper here. Her favorite subject in school is math and science. I asked her to tell her a little about our family. She lives with mom and dad. She has a 5th grade sister, Savina. She has 2 dogs, Honey and Ruby, and she loves to go skiing and boating with her family. When she gets older, she'd like to be a doctor, and she is currently taking 2 high school level classes. She's taking Algebra 1 and Physical Science right now. She's involved in basketball, soccer, and golf, and she loves hanging out with friends and going on vacation, so we're extremely proud to have Seva Nepper as our Rotary Student of the Month.
Congratulations to Seva and the Nepper family.
Okay, for our January Student of the Month, I'd like to have DJ Fiorenzo come on up. DJ was nominated by his history teacher and also myself, as well as the building principal, but I'm also our career-based intervention supervisor, and DJ's involved in that program, so we're extremely proud of everything he's done for us. Again, he's part of our work program, and he helps in the cafeteria every day. He's been a great mentor to our younger staff and is one of the hardest workers in the program. He's always in a good mood and extremely respectful to the adults in the cafeteria. He's also willing to lend a hand when setting up for special events in the building. He has been a valuable member of our 8th grade class. His favorite subject in school is history. He loves to study the past and how we developed over time. He has brothers, Bentley, Nathan, Vinny, his sister Brianna. He lives with mom and dad. He has one dog named Coach and a hamster Snowball, and he loves to play games and eat dinner with everybody. In the future, he would like to join the military, so we'll hopefully get him a military night in the future, Mr. Knoll, and visit Italy someday. He's involved in sports, loves to work out, and likes to play video games and do homework, so we're proud to have DJ Fiorenzo as our Rotary Student of the Month.
Congratulations to DJ and the Fiorenza family. Dr. Potts.
Yep, come on up, Matt. Mark Potts, principal at Canfield High School. Canfield High School is proud to present Matthew Logan as our Rotary Club Student of the Month for February. Matt is a senior and a bit of a Renaissance man. First, academically, he's a National Merit Scholar, an AP Scholar, which means he scored 3 or higher on 3 different AP tests last year. And I'm probably got more this year coming. He's also a Governor's Scholarship recipient, which he got because he's in the top 5% of the school as far as with his GPA and ACT performance. As previously mentioned by Mr. Knoll, Matthew was also an amazing bowler. He bowled a 300 game earlier this year. In one game. I bowled 300, but it'd take me probably 2 or 3 at least. He bowled a 300 game earlier this year and was the AAC Bowler of the Year for a 2nd consecutive year while serving as captain of the CHS team. He's a 4-time letter winner, 3-time All-Conference, and 2-time AAC MVP. He's also been a district and state qualifier, finishing 3rd in the state his sophomore year. And you're not even really done yet this year, so still going. But Matt's talents don't just stop there. He's got some musical skills as well. He was a member of the chamber choir, where he's currently vice president. He also showed off his singing and dancing skills last year in Newsies and the spring musical, and he's been cast in Grease, which will be our spring musical here in about 7 or 8 weeks, coming up. Matt is a member of NHS, the Leos Club, Chemistry Club. He was a junior class officer, member of Drama Club, probably leaving some other stuff out. Okay, got him mostly. He also has worked as a volunteer at a summer camp for the past several years now, and along with his mother Heather, who's accompanied him tonight, volunteers to foster dogs in a program called All Paws Are Perfect. Matt intends to study space systems and robotics at The Ohio State University next fall, and I can just tell you with certainty the Buckeyes are going to be better for having Matt on their campus. It is my privilege to present Matthew Logan as the Canfield High School Student of the Month.
Congratulations, Matt, and to the Logan family. That's an impressive list of accomplishments. So good luck at Ohio State. All right. Knowing that it is a school night, this is a point in the program I give you that opportunity to leave unless you'd like to stay for our riveting agenda. So thank you guys for being here. Congratulations to the Rotary students. We appreciate you. Next up, we do have the presentation of the minutes for January, our organizational and regular meeting. We did get those in advance, so can I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Campbell.
Second, Demila.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist, yes. Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo,
Yes.
Okay, next up, we do have, even though our treasurer is absent, I think Mr. Knoll is going to try his best to give an update on our treasurer's reports.
I will. So in the treasurer's steed, let me begin with the fund balance report from the treasurer. She mentioned that on July 1st of '24, the general fund balance was $17.9 million, and as of 12/31/24, it's down to $17.6 million. Excuse me, a decrease of $300,000, which after that 6 months is in line with her 5-year forecast deficit spending projection of $689,000. Under check registers, she said there's several progress payments on major construction projects, specifically the Hilltop and C.H. Campbell secure vestibules. There was a dollar amount to Hively of $18,607 and $22,023 as well. And then the C.H. Campbell HVAC upgrade to Thompson Mechanical, the final dollar amount of $22,478. So those projects are now complete, by the way, our secure vestibules. Under purchase orders, she mentioned that they begin on page 18, and on page 30, there's the AN refrigeration for $11,151, which was a rebuild of the high school walk-in freezer that was needed here. And then under investments, she has for November 30th, the rates was a little over 5%, and then December 31st, the rates went down to 4.9. And she said there is a continual decline in those rates as anticipated, sadly. So that was her report.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Knoll, and to Ms. Prince, we hope you feel better soon. Can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's reports as presented for November and December?
so moved. Alquist,
Second, Demila.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist, yes. Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo,
Yes.
Okay, next up, public comments.
Jason Henry.
I think we do have one. It's Mr. Henry, a name that I don't recognize.
Let me guess, name, address, in 3 minutes.
See, I don't even have to tell you. You're a pro.
Okay, Jason Henry, 30 Montgomery Court, Canfield. I just wanted to briefly mention to the board what I don't see on the agenda for tonight, which is, of course, facilities and facility planning. I'm only privy to the public agenda for the meetings. I don't know what happens behind the scenes, and if you're meeting every day amongst yourselves to figure out what we're going to do next. Maybe not every day, but hopefully there are discussions happening because my understanding of the majority of the community, regardless of how they vote, and the majority of the board, is that there is a need for facility improvement. And I need to remind you, so that we keep it on the agenda, that you can't just come back in August and say, hey, let's put a levy up, let's figure out what we're going to do, because it's happened before and it's failed before. We need to be starting, when I say now, I mean about 2 months ago, in what are we going to do, what does the next proposal look like, do we need to have, a new plan, does that involve engaging a different architect, those kinds of things. That kind of planning needs to be happening so that we're prepared, should a levy be needed in November, for that. In lieu of that, I'm hoping, again, having other discussions as far as if we're going to pass a levy, how are we going to do it? Because as I've stood here before and mentioned that, we need the school board to do more, Mr. Knoll has reminded me that the law says no. I would hope that somebody is engaging with a conversation with a lawyer to say, we as the school board have been tasked with upkeep and maintenance of the schools. We think we need to pass a levy to build a new school. Regardless of the state of how things are being dictated down to say, you know, you can't do anything. Well, I kind of refuse to accept that you can't do anything. There has to be something that can be done to gather information, to, if not poll the public, figure out another way to find out how we can get a levy passed. There has to be something that can be done at the board level. I don't think it's incumbent on a levy committee or whatever other group. It needs to be a combination of both groups and coming from the school board down to how that's going to work. And just as a third note, because 3 is always good, is the board thinking about the possibility of not building a new school, but still needing to maintain the buildings we have? If the community, if you research and find out that the community is not going to support building a new school, what will they support? Because we all know that the buildings require maintenance beyond what the property improvement fund that you have supports. You have $1 million or 1.6, whatever it is, and you know, you have probably half a dozen projects alone that cost more than that amount. You know, so if we're not going to build a school for $60 million, you know, are you prepared to come to the community for, you know, a $15 million continuing improvement fund to say to the community, you've told us you're not going to support a school, you want us to maintain what we have, how are we going to do that? We don't have the funds available to maintain the properties in their current condition. What are some options that we have? So again, I just hope that the school board is having these level of conversations because, again, it needs to start now so that as the decisions come up, how are we going to do this? What do we need to do? They're happening now so that when the decisions come down, we're all prepared for what it's going to take to get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. I appreciate those comments and that feedback. I will reinforce to those that might be watching at home and to those that are in attendance that I do see a few people from our levy committee that have participated in the past that are present, and I thank them for being here. Just because it is not on the agenda, it is on the forefront of our minds on a regular basis. And although we might not be having meetings, I am actively in discussion with people. The biggest challenge that we have continues to be that analysis piece and uncovering additional details, which to have effective analysis done by a reputable organization requires funds that we can't use from the school district, which therefore we would need to raise funds that the committee would need to have to raise. And that in itself is a challenge because that fund has been depleted over time. So we have a few different things that we need to work through in order to get that data in detail. We've got some individuals, Mr. Schuler in particular, who has some great ideas that we need to partner with from the committee. But again, a lot of that requires some funding that we'd have to be creative with trying to raise. The fact that we don't have it on the agenda and we might not bring it up every time, I think full transparency, the community should know that the need for new school buildings or some sort of facilities update is still there. That is not going away. And, maybe we should continue to mention it at each meeting just so people don't say, we're surprised that you're looking for a new school building, because I think we've been talking about it for 4 or 5 years now since I've been on the school board. So yes, out of sight, out of mind, we don't want that to be the case. But I also appreciate that as each month goes by, we are pushing ourselves against a clock, which therefore means we might not necessarily be able to get something accomplished in November as much as we would like to have seen November. So I think, and I don't want to speak on behalf of the board, but I think from my personal opinion, it's about making sure we are as thorough as possible again, and making sure that we are not pushing something down on a community that thinks it's being pushed, even though I don't feel like we've done that in the past. But the perception of timeline being short will also be perceived on the other end as though you're trying to push something down on us when we're not ready for it. So we have to be very delicate and balance that. And I just would say it's not forgotten, and we do need to be able to continue to have those discussions. So I appreciate that feedback. Does anybody want to make any other comments? You're more than welcome to. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Henry. Next up, we have personnel.
Okay, so we'll start with accepting some resignations from our licensed staff. We have Lisa Zetz, the Hilltop kindergarten teacher, effective June 1 of 2025, and Jacqueline Echo, the high school math teacher, effective June 1st, 2025 as well. For classified, we have Gary Manzi, our bus driver, effective February 3rd of 2025, and Jason Treveri, our freshman baseball coach, effective January 4th of 2025. Some hiring under classified, we have Jeffrey Grand, the Special Services Secretary, effective February 18th at $19.52 an hour, and Cassandra Ripple, a high school special needs aide at 3.75 hours a day at $16.24 per hour, effective February the 3rd of 2025. We have a good list of approved classified subs, which is nice. Taria Chayette, Christine Fowler, Charlene Barb, Ronald Leon, and Edward Arcina. In under hiring of paraprofessionals to be reimbursed by the boosters, we have Monica Eichel-Meffin, a band paraprofessional of $15 an hour. And under a transfer reassignment, Alexis Novotny will be moving from the Hilltop grade 3 teacher to the new middle school grade 5 teacher, effective for the 25-26 school year. Also have the hiring of our extracurriculars that was found in exhibit number 5, resolution number 56-2025. And finally, to recommend accepting the resignation of bus driver Pete Morgan, effective the end of the business day on February 19, 2025, or upon completion of 120 days of service for the 24-25 school year, whichever is later, and from any other position with the Board of Education. All those as presented.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the personnel resignations and hirings and transfers as presented in line items A through H?
So moved. Campbell.
Second, Demila.
Any discussion?
I just want to say, on a personal note, to Lisa Zetz, congratulations on a great career. It was my kindergarten teacher a long time ago, and she's just an amazing person and has done so much for the kids in this community, and Canfield is really a better place because of her. So good luck with your retirement, and you will be missed for sure. So.
For sure. I will add as well, having been a CH parent for 3 of the kids and then having moved and had a Hilltop opportunity for one of my kids, my son was able to have Mrs. Zetz, and so the impact that she has on kids at such a young age is invaluable, and so I appreciate what she's been able to do from a personal side, just to see it with my own child. From her career span, as I read the resignation letter, it was 45 years total in education and about 39 years of service in Canfield. So that's highly impressive, and to that we thank you for all that you've done, and you will be truly missed, and we congratulate you on taking that leap to retirement.
And also, Mrs. Novotny, it's going to be
yes, I see
a huge
her.
loss for Hilltop. So
Should we
personally
approve that
sad.
one?
I know.
We have, Dr. Alquist and I both have 3rd graders next
Oh, boy.
year, and so maybe we
You
don't
want
let
me to
that
pull that off,
happen. Yeah,
pull
so
that off the agenda for you?
I see her in
That
the
one
house.
hurts. But I'm excited for 5th grade, and I think,
Yeah.
what a win for the middle school, so.
Yeah,
She'll fit right in
100%.
perfectly, but it is a loss, so thank you for the service to Hilltop.
Good luck in the middle school.
Alexis, I'm all for you going to 5th grade, because my daughter's going to 5th grade.
Nice,
So
nice.
Excellent. All right. Can I have roll call, please?
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist, yes. Mr. Campbell.
yes.
Mr. DeMilo.
Yes.
Okay, so it's that time of the year where we're going to adopt the 2025-26 school calendar, and that was in exhibit number 7 for you.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to adopt the 2025-26 school calendar?
So moved, Campbell.
Second, Alquist.
Any discussion?
So just some quick highlights. Calendar's very similar to this year for next year. Very similar. We will post this on our website as well and get this out to parents and some communication. Christmas is on a Thursday, so that means 2 weeks for Christmas for next year. And everybody always wants to know about spring break. Easter is early next year, beginning of April. So, like I said, we'll get that out for everybody once the board approves it tonight.
And I think another thing to note is everybody looks at graduation, so it is
Yes.
coming back to Memorial Day weekend, which this year, for some reason, I forgot why it didn't hit Memorial Day weekend, but, so I think people appreciate the Memorial Day weekend graduation.
But it's on a Sunday, not Saturday.
Yeah.
Graduation.
It's on, correct.
Sunday.
Yeah,
And it is for this school year also? I know that's already set,
Yeah.
but I did, okay.
and it was last year too for my son,
But 2 years ago, it was a Saturday.
Saturday, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just checking.
Which, yeah, that's a good question. How do we determine Saturday versus Sunday? Is it because of sports? I feel like,
That's a big piece of it.
Yeah.
Yep, we have so many folks in the spring sports making it to the state championships. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to pick a good day.
yeah,
I mean,
And then the weather, so.
and then you always have that as well,
yeah, I'm
Mr.
sure
Mil-
we'll have some questions on starting when we do start.
trying to be outside.
But
Yeah.
what I would stress for people that are going to come back and potentially email or call that say that it's earlier again this year, we typically do 7 days of school now prior to fair break, if we really
Correct.
calculate what that looks like. So the same 7 days fall prior to fair break, because when Labor Day gets a little earlier, that's why it looks like we're starting earlier.
Yep,
So I
100%.
just give people that insight.
Can you shed some light? This is probably one of the hottest topics, I guess I would say, as a board member, now that I get folks want to know, I think a lot of folks want post-Labor Day start, as Canfield traditionally had. And I know we've went away from that. Can you shed some light on why that is, and is that a possibility in the future? Or, how this has come to kind of be? I know it started previous to you, but.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, from my personal opinion, what I've seen happen in the years I've been here is I like the idea of getting here before the fair. Our teachers are able to get a lot of that paperwork, that organization, the routines, all that stuff to our kids and kind of out of the way. We spend those 2 days, first couple of days on doing some testing with our youngest learners, which our staff really enjoys. So they don't really start day one, as you know. They have a couple of days of testing, and then they come in. So our what I call the secondary folks, to Mr. Atway's point, get those 7 days in. The younger kids don't quite get to 7. But I like the idea of getting in here and getting a lot of that stuff done early on. The other piece of it is our high school kids start CCP already. They're up and running. Our sports, those kids are already up and running. So there's a lot of kids already on campus, and the colleges really don't care when you start. They start when they want to go, and that's just kind of how it goes. Our calendars actually model the Career Center's calendar as well. We don't have a ton of kids that go there, but that's also another piece. And for me, even though I say we're more than just a score in Canfield, which we are, those tests are still important because we get rated on that. And my whole thing is, if we can get more days up front of those tests to get our kids immersed in curriculum, that's a win for us. Like I said, the state doesn't care when you start. Their testing dates are the dates. But for me, that's another piece, and Mr. Vittle can weigh in as well, because I'm kind of getting out of my lane here, getting in the curriculum lane. But, for me, any opportunity we have to immerse our kids in curriculum days prior to testing, I'm all in favor of. So, Mr. Vittle, did I do okay with that curriculum piece?
Perfect.
Anything else you wanted to add?
Was the original question why we start?
Yeah, it's like, why do we start before? What are our advantages of doing that, I guess?
I'll just add that I've been studying probably 25 similar districts.
Yeah.
And they all start approximately the same date, the same week that we start.
Yeah, we've been spending a lot of time looking at the calendar, to your point. And we don't want to do things just because others do, but that data is pretty critical when other high-functioning and good rated schools are starting prior. That does kind of support where we're at as well.
Yeah, I just know it's, like I said, a hot topic around town and in the
Oh, yeah.
community, and,
And speaking of hot, one good thing is we got Eric C.H. Campbell now, so.
Just the middle
No,
school.
and-
The middle school's the one that hurt.
And I think the biggest hot topic, to your point, Steve, is it's just the way it was always done. So when you change anything, it becomes a hot topic because people, when they get used to something. But I feel like now we've been doing this for quite some time.
Well, it's been 5 for me,
Yeah, I would say it was probably 3 years before you.
yeah, so maybe 7 or 8 years now,
yeah, and I
maybe.
would, those
7 or
3
8.
years before, John, it was maybe not as much before, if I remember correctly, maybe it was like 3 days,
Yeah.
I don't know.
3
But
days prior.
I know
Yeah.
a lot of people ask me that,
Yep,
so
yep.
I just wanted to shine some light on at least the rationale behind
Yeah.
behind it, so people at least have that.
No, I appreciate that, yeah. And when folks call, I'd kind of articulate the same,
Yeah.
same message to them as well.
We'll still get some emails.
Yes, you will. That's okay, that's okay.
We
Yeah.
welcome them.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist, yes. Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo,
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend approving our request for summer school. We have C.H. Campbell and Hilltop, dates to be determined yet. The middle school, June 3rd to the 26th, and the high school, June 2nd to the 26th of 2025.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve the request for summer school as presented in Exhibit 8?
So moved, Demila?
Second, Campbell.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist, yes. Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo,
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend approving some out-of-state overnight field trip requests in Exhibit Number 9. First of all, our middle school grade 5 students to Camp Fitch in North Springfield, PA for an outdoor experience, May 21st to the 23rd of 2025, providing lodges paid by an outside organization. Our varsity wrestling team to Kenston up in Chagrin Falls for a sectional wrestling tournament, February 21st and 22nd. Also, the wrestling team to Kenston again for district wrestling, February 28th to the 1st. And we're extremely hopeful that we're using this last one here, that our varsity wrestling team, some members to the Shot Center in Columbus for the state wrestling tournament, March 6th through the 10th of 2025.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to approve our out-of-state overnight field trip request as presented in Exhibit 9?
So moved, Demila?
Second, Campbell.
Any discussion? I just wish them luck and hope that they can make it all the way.
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist, yes. Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo,
Yes.
I'd like to recommend adopting resolution number 57-2025 for membership in the OHSAA for the 25-26 school year. It was Exhibit 10.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion adopting Resolution 57-2025 for membership in the OHSAA?
So moved, Campbell.
Second, Demila?
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway,
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist, yes. Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo,
Yes.
I'd like to recommend approving Mahoning Valley Community School Governing Board Service Agreement. That was Exhibit number 11.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion approving the Mahoning Valley Community School Governing Board Service Agreement as presented?
so moved, Alquist,
Second, Campbell.
Any discussion?
Mr. Knoll, can you shed some light on what this is?
You know what, I don't have this one in front of me. I'm sorry, I don't have my laptop with me.
The Mahoning Valley Community School.
Yeah, Mr. Vito, is this for our one kiddo that we have going to school?
To be honest, I don't know, I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, this one's from the treasurer. I believe we have a student going to that school, and obviously it costs us dollars to send him or her there. So this I believe is a service agreement for that child.
Okay.
And when I read it, I think that's what I had seen, but I don't remember this, well, obviously I won't say the student's name, but.
Yeah, that's what this is for. Yeah. Yeah, and there's a certain dollar amount per day for students. So this is an agreement for them to basically bill us for that child's education at that facility. Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist? Yes. Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to recommend adopting resolution number 58-2025, approving an agreement with Professional Service Industries Incorporated for environmental counseling services. That was Exhibit 12.
Based on the recommendation, the superintendent can have a motion adopting Resolution 58-2025, approving an agreement with Professional Service Industries for environmental consulting services.
So moved, Demila.
Second, Campbell.
Any other discussion?
So this is for the third-party company that we're,
Yeah, this is the group that I referenced a little bit earlier. Yep, this is the company and organization that will be, serving as a guide for us moving forward, watching the testing and basically putting those reports in English for me to understand them.
have we formally asked Material Science if they'd be willing to pay for it?
This piece here is on the school district.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, MSC, well, really August Mac has agreed to pay for the work, the testing that's being done on the campus.
Right.
But this is the board's oversight, so this is on us.
No, I understand that,
Yeah.
but I guess my thought would be, we wouldn't have to hire them if this chemical spill didn't happen, right?
This was more
Well-
of a recommendation on, this was us to make sure that it wasn't
Oh,
Mr.
no,
Knoll
I-
wearing the hat.
No, I
Oh, okay.
understand.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand why. I'm just,
No, yeah, I guess your point's valid. If that spill wouldn't have
I'm
happened,
not,
we wouldn't be
they
here.
might say
Yeah,
no, but
yeah.
we wouldn't have to hire them if there wasn't a chemical spill that they, at their,
Well, and honestly, we don't need to hire him now either. Honestly, this to me is just
yeah.
in
No, I-
abundance of caution kind
No,
of thing.
I understand. I think
Yeah.
it's the right move.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, hey, maybe it's worth to ask them if they'd be
Mm-hmm.
willing to.
I can do that.
I don't, Nader, I know you brought it up to him.
Yeah, I have yet to send a formal request, but,
I know when you asked them, they kind of chuckled, but
yeah.
Yeah.
it's not very funny to me, so.
It was on my to-do list,
Yeah.
to make that.
But no, I mean, to your point, Joe, I think it's the right thing to do to have a third party
Right.
to do it. I just think it's a situation where we're in the spot because of something that happened over there, and, there's no harm in asking them.
Yeah, I think communication, just to reach out to kind of give them some insight would be appropriate, and
Yeah,
I'd
I'll
be
do
willing
that.
to, no, I'd be willing to be the one that initiates that.
Okay,
so
I appreciate that.
it's
Thank you.
Not an issue.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist? Yes. Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend adopting resolution number 59-2025, authorizing the license agreement for the temporary fence at Canfield High School as Exhibit 13.
Based on the recommendation, the superintendent can have a motion adopting Resolution 59-2025, authorizing the license agreement for the temporary fence.
So moved. Alquist?
Second, Demila.
Any discussion?
Just, there's no timeline on how long this fence, it just really depends on how things shake out with testing and all that.
100% correct.
And
yeah.
it's both sides of the creek, right?
Yeah, so the company's working with the homeowners
Yeah.
on their side, and then obviously on our side as well, right?
Does it, I know the baseball fields back there, does it just go
Yeah, so it's going to go,
north side?
yeah, I don't know if you remember the picture, but when I had that yellow part, so it's going to go like on the third base side,
Yeah,
and then connect to the field, and then from the fence all the way down to Cardinal.
okay, so
On our
it'll
side.
connect to our baseball fence?
Yeah, that's their plan right now. I mean, I haven't seen an actual drawing yet,
Okay.
but that's their game plan. And then having
Because
some.
there's a break in our baseball fence, right?
Yeah, there is,
Okay.
yeah. But then also to have like some gates in that long stretch from the baseball field down, if balls would happen and get kicked over.
Sure.
We're still kind of talking that through a little bit, but I think we need to have a couple little access points there to be able to get across. just in case, get outside that fence.
Yeah.
And this is independent of the homeowner side? Like, I mean, our side of the fence, of the creek will be covered by
Yeah.
passing this. But
Yeah.
then the homeowners who are all notified,
Yes,
I mean, that's dependent on whatever happens on their side.
that is correct.
Based on if they say yes or no?
Yeah, yeah, August Mac's working with them.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, obviously, we want to do it to be a good neighbor and help this whole process move forward, you know, whatever the EPA says it needs to be. So, but all the homeowners are dealing with August Mac for
This
those
is an
agreements.
this is an EPA mandate. I
Yep,
guess, so to speak.
yep, and August Mac is the one that has to deploy it,
Okay.
correct?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist? Yes. Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to recommend adopting resolution number 60-2025, authorizing the execution of an access agreement with August Mac Environmental Incorporated. That was exhibit number 14.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion adopting Resolution 60-2025, authorizing the execution of an access agreement with August Mac?
So moved. Demirla?
Second, Campbell.
Any other discussion?
So this, Joe, just allows them to get onto the property, test. And it looks like testing sites, I know a couple were recently added. It's, you know, that west side of the lot, some buildings over there.
Yeah, so there's 6, sadly, injections into our new parking lot, but it's minor. This is like a drill, so it's not that big deal. And then 2 of our facilities, yes, the weight room, wrestling room, and the concession stand
Okay.
is what they'll be here. And like I said, the goal, weather permitting, is to be on site this weekend. The only thing, we talked to them yesterday, the only negative is if it rains. That's a big concern for them, rain. Snow they can work through.
Right.
So I'm hoping over the 4 days, they can get out here and get their work done.
And then we added, on that side of the building, the science rooms, correct?
Yeah, that has nothing to do with this.
Okay, that's
Okay, yeah, so that's, well, I take that back. It's actually was added to that, but those are 2 different entities, yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the time frame to get all that back? The test?
The test results, he told me hopefully 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah.
And-
But the other part is, they give that testing, and the EPA is the one that has to do it and do their thing before it comes back.
Gotcha.
So. he
And then
wasn't gonna-
from there, will the EPA give us, hey, will they give a mandate to us based off of those results? Or,
Well, there's no mandate to us at all. We're not responsible to have to fix anything, have to clean anything up. There's no responsibility for the board at all. So this all falls on August Mac. So whatever those results say, August Mac will have to move forward with whatever plan the EPA puts into place. If they find something, then here's what we have to do, because it's all for this TCE, as you remember. Or if they don't find it and there's nothing to move forward, that's fine as well.
Right, so based off those results, August Mac via the EPA will have to,
Correct. There'll be some type of plan in place, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Is August Mac then responsible for who's going to fill our small little drill holes?
August
in
Mac
our-
will.
Okay.
Yeah, they put it back to what it looked like prior. That's their job.
That was gonna be my question. If those little holes happen to like create cracks that
Right.
affect our warranty,
That was expensive.
It was,
Yeah,
it was,
so
but no, they
they
made
will be
it-
held accountable
yeah,
for any.
They made
any-
it clear,
okay.
they do this for a living and get it done
I
fairly
just-
well, so.
We'll make it clear that if our parking lot is
I
disrupted.
might have mentioned that already. I might have mentioned that too, like, oh, no.
Not only will they get an email from me, they'll get an email from Mr. D'Amato.
Nice, nice.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist? Yes. Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
yes.
And I just want to pause this. I want to thank the board for their support here. I know this is kind of uncharted water for us, but I do appreciate being proactive and accepting my recommendation to bring these people on site and do this testing. Like I said, I know this isn't something we should be having to worry about, but it's here, and I do thank you for your support moving forward, so.
Well, and I want to thank you for working with the entire group on this and bringing forward the recommendations. And I know it's kind of come about that maybe we've moved slower, but at the end of the day, the school district wasn't the one that should be leading this.
Correct.
But we are a participant in trying to make sure that our students and our staff are safe and protected, and that's what the ultimate goal has always been.
I agree. Okay. I'd like to recommend adopting amended resolution number 2-2025, declaring transportation impractical for the students as listed on Exhibit 15.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion to adopt our resolution 61-2025 authorizing, oh, am I reading the wrong one? Sorry, I was
Yeah, that's
wanting
okay.
the transportation one, which is
yeah.
the,
Number 10?
yes, for Exhibit 15 as
There you go.
presented.
Yep.
Declaring transportation impractical for students. I jumped the gun.
So moved, Alquist.
Second, Demaila.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist? Yes. Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Demilo?
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend adopting resolution number 61-2025, authorizing the filing of an original complaint against the valuation of real property parcel 26-020-0-010.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion adopting resolution 61-2025, authorizing for the filing of an original complaint as presented in Exhibit 16.
So moved. Campbell.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist? Yes. Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Demilo?
Yes.
And I'd like to recommend adopting resolution number 62-2025, authorizing the filing of an original complaint against the valuation of real property parcel 26-017-020.01-0.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent, can I have a motion adopting resolution 62-2025, authorizing the filing of an original complaint against the valuation of real estate property parcel as presented in Exhibit 17.
So moved. Campbell.
Second, Demaila.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, what the heck was that all about?
Okay, so,
We did this last year. for-
yeah,
for
we
certain
did this
properties.
last year, I think once. This is a new law that's required that really makes it difficult for school districts, I'll be honest with you, but it's a law we need to follow. So basically what you have is you have a property that was appraised at a dollar amount versus what it was sold. And we are questioning that specific dollar amount, which basically means the owner is paying less taxes based on what we have right now than what we believe they should be paying.
How did we find that out?
We have an attorney that we hired to do this for a living for us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. You know, this is a whole new world when it comes to this, but we have a law firm that views those sales and makes recommendations to us,
Sometimes it could be intentional. Maybe.
such as,
Well, I'm saying they
yeah,
undercut.
yeah,
Yeah, in the
yeah.
schools.
So, yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
this is our way to kind of have some oversight,
Got it.
okay?
Were we awarded those last year, the several parcels that we
That is a
questioned
great
or-
question.
I believe, when I talked to Ms., I don't want to, don't take it as gospel, but I believe she said we were.
Yeah, I thought we were in the positive as well.
Yeah.
Just enough to pay for the, for the attorneys
The
to
legal-
find it?
Well, actually, no.
The two last year were big ones.
Yeah, they
yeah,
were large
they
because
were.
they
Yeah,
were commercial
it-
properties?
It was,
These-
yeah, it was the
Yeah.
Myers
No, these are-
location.
They're all,
Myers,
The-
Marshall, Summit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really, residential ones don't usually come within that percent.
Right.
But these are a little bit different. And I thought Patty had mentioned like $6,000 possibly a year.
Like if you
And
look-
over time, that adds up. So,
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist? Yes. Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Demilo?
Yes.
Next up are donations, as we have in Exhibit 18, and my iPad has died, and so I'm hoping Mr. Campbell has them in front of him, and he can read them.
I think I do.
I got it. I got it.
You got it,
You have
okay.
them? All right, then, Mr. Demilo, if you have them, if you could read donations, please.
Sure. Box tops for education, $38.70 for the CHC Principals Fund. Mark D. Davis, $200. Katie Farragher Memorial Trust Fund for the Arts. AccuForm, $500 for Jets Club. George and Athena Sadis, $600 for the CVMS DC trip. sorry if I'm sure I mispronounced your name.
Sudis.
Ohio Powell Prince, 3195 CHS Principals Fund. Total cash donations, $13.7065.
Very good. Thank you for those donations. Can I have a motion to approve the donations as presented in Exhibit 18?
So moved. Campbell.
Second, Demila.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Atway?
Yes.
Mrs. Alquist? Yes. Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. DeMilo?
Yes.
All right. I think we have no other business on
Dr.
this.
Alquist did a great job.
She did a very good job.
That's
Thank
not
you.
easy. We got a lot of moving parts there.
Yeah.
So can I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved. Campbell.
Second, Demila.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.